Hello everyone. Welcome back to what will probably end up being the last episode of Das Erbe. We're pretty close to the end of the game. I'm not sure if we'll be able to finish off in this episode, but I'm guessing probably I'll be able to wrap it up in this video. So you might recall at the end of the last video, I ran into a bug wherein I couldn't get out of this bedroom after I got stuck here, where the game wouldn't let me walk out. I tried to figure out what causes that. It seems like that will happen if you load from a saved game. It seems like that happens if, when you run the game, you directly load a saved game right from the beginning instead of starting a new game. So there's some kind of variable that doesn't get initialized properly if you load an old game for whatever reason. So if you ever run into that problem, I think you can just choose to start a new game, and then in the new game get yourself killed, and then load your saved game, and then that should be fine. But what I've gone ahead and done, just to be on the safe side, is I've started a brand new game here. So I've done, in this screen that we're looking at right now, I've done absolutely nothing other than just start the game and walk upstairs, because I wanted to show one thing that you can do here. Well, the one thing that I didn't do, remember, is I didn't use the computer to buy our plane tickets. So if we go ahead and use the computer to the keyboard's not connected because I started a new game. So we use the keyboard with the computer. There we go, now it's connected. Okay, now we can use the computer. Yes, we can. Okay, so let's go ahead and choose Broken Wings Airlines. And so we have three options here. One is a flight from Stuttgart to Miami. One is a flight to Frankfurt, which you might remember is the city where we started when we were speaking with our lawyer, who executed our late uncle's will. And of course, we have a nonstop flight to Honolulu. So if you choose either the first or the third options, to either Miami or Honolulu, the game says, it uses the word piepen as a sort of a slang word for money, just kind of the way Americans use bucks or something like that to refer to dollars. But basically what it says is when you have the 3 million bucks, then you can basically then you can basically go on vacation forever, and you get the exact same response if you choose Honolulu. Same response. So what we want to do is book our flight to Frankfurt, because we want to meet up with the lawyer again to tell him that we successfully delivered on our promise to restore the house. So if you choose option 2, the flight to Frankfurt, then it just says, do you really want that? And then you just click yes. And you don't get any confirmation, so I assume that just means that, yeah, the ticket was bought. So great. One other thing that I didn't show off, which is kind of amusing, is because this is a new game, and you remember it was really hot up here, I haven't even turned off this radiator yet. So if we just try to go out now, the bird dies as we're walking out. And it says, after the death of Karl-Heinz, maybe it would be recommendable to do something against the heat. So I guess this is sort of like the proverbial canary in a coal mine, where basically the death of the bird is trying to tell you something. And I think if we try to go out again, despite the death of the bird, oh, no, it actually let me go out. So, okay, that's fine. So that's it. I just wanted to show you what happens when you book your plane ticket, even though it's really nothing spectacular. So now I need to load my game. Unfortunately, the game doesn't actually give you the option to load a game. You can save your game in mid-play, but there's no option to actually load a game unless you... I guess I could quit the game, but what I'll do is I'll go ahead and... let's just go upstairs and open the window again, because that will get us killed. There we go. Okay, now I can click on old to load. Okay, so here we go. So here's a saved game that I made where I have done basically everything that we've seen thus far, including booking the plane ticket. So we're back here, and we have done everything. We have fixed the outside of the house by calling the painter. We fixed the leaky water faucet in here. We bought this nice new fridge. We bought the new furnace that's in there. We bought the new furniture in the living room and the bedroom. I believe that's it. That's all the restoration, unless I'm not sure if I'm missing anything right now, but basically everything that you've seen me do thus far in the game is everything that you can do in the game to restore the house. So we're done. We're done restoring the house, and now it's kind of time for the end game, for the final actions of the game. So you remember, of course, Lolita. our romantic object of desire for this game. And she said she wanted to invite us in for some strawberries and cream. So we have all the necessary ingredients now, all the things that I'd associate with that. We have the, where are they? The strawberries, the Erdbeeren that we picked from the bush outside. We have the cream, the Sahne, which we bought from Inga's store. We have a bowl, a Schüssel, to mix it in. And we have a whisk, a Schneebesen. So that should be all that we need. However, there appears to be another bug in the game that prevents you from preparing the strawberries and cream properly. I really don't know how the game expects you to do it, but what I've done, what seems reasonable to me, is to say use cream with bowl, and then click OK. And I assume that is supposed to do something, because the cream does disappear from our inventory. If you look at our inventory now, the cream is no longer there. So I'm going to assume that that's something we're supposed to do. And then if you say, for example, use the strawberries with the bowl, nothing happens. And what you can also do is use the whisk, because you might think, okay, well, it's whipping cream, so probably need to whip the cream with the whisk. So use the whisk with the bowl. But if you say OK now, the game says cream first, or literally first cream. So it's basically like saying put the cream in first before you try to do that. But we already did put the cream in. And if you go back to Inga's store and buy more cream and try to put it in, you'll get the same message. So I think that's also a bug in the game. I said at the very beginning when I started playing this game, I said that the ending is going to be a little bit disappointing. And that's the reason why, because I don't think, unless I'm doing something wrong, I think that there's a bug in the game which prevents you from actually winning the love of Lolita, even though we have everything that we need. We have the bowl, we have the cream, we have the strawberries, and we have the whisk to mix it all together. And if you try to do this again, you saw that when I tried to use the whisk on the bowl, it said put the cream in first. If I try to do that again, it just says nothing. I get no message now. And again, if I try to use the berries with the bowl, nothing happens. And I still have the berries, so it doesn't look like it did anything. So unless somebody knows the solution here, knows what I'm supposed to do, I'm afraid we're not going to be able to meet Lolita. I apologize to everyone. I think that I'd love to find out that I'm wrong and that I've actually done something wrong, but I think that is actually the fault of the game and not something that I can do anything about. Sorry, folks. That said, moving beyond Lolita, what else do we need to do? The only other thing that we really need to do is write in for that certificate. Because remember, we saw this, we had this brochure. If I look at the brochure again, it's talking about this, basically this nature protection initiative in which you can apply for your environmental certificate for your house. And it says, please write to this address and include postage, of course. So we have everything that we need for that as well. What we have is, let's see, we have this writing paper, this briefpapier that we bought from Inga's. So what we can do, obviously, is take a pen to that, because we have this pen that we took from the, that we kind of stole from the furniture store. So we can say use the pen, the Kugelschreiber, with the paper. And that gives us a letter, a Brief. Brief in German is a letter. And I don't know if you can actually read the letter. No, you cannot. The game doesn't let you read your own letter, and if you try to look at it, it just says you see nothing special. But this is a letter which we wrote, and we don't need an envelope. Curiously enough, obviously in Germany they do use envelopes, just like in, I think, pretty much every part of the world. But we don't need an envelope in this case, but what we do need is a stamp. And you'll remember we found one of those at Inga's as well. One fell out of her desk bell for some reason, so use the Briefmark, the stamp. Use the Briefmark with the Brief. Use the stamp with the letter. Okay, and it doesn't really say anything, but I'm going to assume that it must have been successful because the stamp is no longer in our inventory. So we have a written and presumably addressed and stamped letter now. So now it's time to go outside and make use of the bicycle. We have not used the bicycle as of yet, but now we will. So, oh, it's still locked. I never unlocked it because I never actually made use of the bike, but we can go ahead and, wait, do I just say, oh, I guess I just say open bicycle? Yeah, okay, here we go. And this little sort of numeric pad pops up here. And we have to type in the code to unlock the bike, which you might remember is 007. That's I think that's pretty easy to remember, even if you're not familiar with James Bond. But anyway, okay, the lock is open. Now we can use the bike. And off we go. So the only really important thing in this screen is this letterbox right in the middle of the screen. It is obviously a letterbox. And all the other stuff surrounding here is really just circumstantial. There is a garbage can here. Probably the packaging from only one meal. I think that's a kind of a message about over-packaging in some fast food restaurants, which is kind of true. You do kind of get a ridiculous amount of packaging in some fast food meals. But anyway, yeah, I don't think we can take anything out of the trash. Nope. And here's a burger bar, and actually there are two burger bars, or two burger restaurants here, and you can go into both of them, and there's no... Hello? There we go. And there's no real... There's no benefit from doing so. You just get kind of a silly message. So this says, after a while, you come saturated out from the store. It's kind of a funny way of putting it. I guess you ate so much that you became saturated with whatever they put in the burgers. By the way, for my fellow electrical engineers out there, in case I doubt that most people care, but if any of you are electrical engineers and you're curious, I did actually look it up and I found out that the German word for saturation, Sättigung, is indeed used for the saturation of a transistor. So if you have a transistor that's operating in the saturation zone, meaning it's basically all the way on, so to speak, it's conducting as much as it's going to conduct, then yes, that is also called Sättigung, saturation in German. I thought that was amusing, but I'm sure that most of you don't know what I'm talking about, and even if you did, you wouldn't care, but I just find these kinds of details amusing because I'm a nerd that way. So anyway, if you go into this INT, I assume International Burger Connection, here it says, in a mountain of packaging, you find a mini hamburger. Yeah, that's definitely a commentary on over-packaging in the fast food industry. Anyway, so let's see. So can we go ahead and say use the letter with the letterbox? Oh, first you have to open the Einwurfschlitz, the slot. Okay. Can we, do you do something? I don't know, I can't really see it because he's blocking it, but it doesn't look like it's open. Do I have to click on the actual slot itself? Oh, yes, I do. There we go. Now you can see the slot is open. Okay, great. So now, okay, so the slot is open. Let's go ahead and put the letter in the slot. The letter will be delivered in the next few days. Okay. And just to be very, very German, let's go ahead and carefully close the slot in the letterbox. Okay, so now I know it just said that the letter is going to be delivered in the next few days, which is reasonable. That's a pretty standard delivery time for a domestic letter delivery, I think. But if we use our bicycle, because we're actually done in this screen, there's nothing else to do here except deliver the letter. If we use the bicycle to go back, we find out that there is already a guy here. There is a guy who has arrived in response to our requests. So I guess the mail in Germany works pretty quickly. And this guy's just standing around waiting for us to show up so he can give us our environmental certificate. As a sort of a funny I don't know if I should say it's a fun fact because maybe it's not very fun, but it's a kind of amusing fact. If you look at this section of the screen, even when the guy is not there, it will actually give you a message about him being there. So the game actually recognizes clicking on this spot on the screen as clicking on the guy, even when the guy doesn't show up. The only difference here is that now he's visibly here. They basically changed the screen to make him visible, but he's still a clickable hotspot on the screen, even when he's not visible. Anyway, I think all we have to do is look at him. So we just say look at the I don't know why it calls him a type. I think that's kind of slangy German for like a guy, like a type of guy. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at him. The friendly man gives you or awards you the environmental certificate. Fantastic. Oh, and we're back at the lawyer. Okay, after you have fulfilled all the conditions in the testament, I may award you your inheritance. Yes, a check for... Oh, hey, and you won the heart of Lolita. Wow, that's... Wow. You know, that's really weird because when I did this last time, gosh. Well, that was an unexpectedly happy ending. So, I didn't do anything differently this time, so I don't know why the game... let me win Lolita, so to speak. I hate to put it that way because obviously a woman is a human being. She's not like a thing to be won, but for the purposes of this game, I guess she basically is. So basically, when I played this game, what the lawyer said was, "Okay, congratulations, you've won you've inherited the house and your 3 million Deutschmark." But then the game says at the end, "Unfortunately, you failed to win the heart of Lolita." Well, I must have done something differently. Maybe it was just, even though it seemed pointless, even though there seemed to be no response when I tried to use the whisk on the bowl or the strawberries on the bowl, something must have happened. Some game logic must have clicked into place that basically said that I've fulfilled all the conditions to basically convince her that I am worthy of putting my my interface into her interface. Let's see. Let me go ahead and I have a list here of everything that I did in the game. Let me go ahead and recap the things that basically involve Lolita. So of course there's calling her on the phone. You get her phone number from the back of the photograph, and of course you call the number. You get the strawberries from the same screen that we're looking at right now. The strawberries from that bush on the right hand. Bush. Bush. You get the strawberries from that bush. And you get the bowl from the kitchen and the whisk also from the kitchen, of course. And you send her the flowers. You use the computer to order a bouquet of roses to send to her. And what else? I think that's it. I think it's just as simple as just calling her, and then, like you saw, what I did was I put the cream into the bowl, and it seemed like it went in because I lost it from my inventory. And then I used the whisk on it and just said put the cream in first. Maybe I had to do it a second time. Maybe trying to use the whisk on the bowl the second time was the key that somehow made it work. And then I don't know if trying to use the strawberries on the bowl does anything worthwhile, but gosh. Well, I'm really happy about that now. I am shocked because I don't think I did anything differently from what I did when I played this game the first time. But for some reason now it let me win. So, well, this was a happier ending than I expected. I really didn't expect things to turn out this way. And this is a very sweet closing screen. Very nice that these two very wealthy young people who have obviously inherited a ton of money from their dead uncle are so happy together with their nice little villa in the mountains, or I don't know if it's in the mountains, but obviously in a very nice place. So they have their nice house, they have their millions upon millions of Deutsche Mark, and they have their strawberries and cream. And they're obviously very happy together. And why shouldn't they be? All right, folks. Gosh, I'm really happy. I'm really happy that that actually worked out. I want to cry now. But I guess I will bid you all adieu and say that it has been my pleasure to take you through Das Erbe. I hope that you've enjoyed watching. I hope that that this was not too painfully boring, despite being obviously a very preachy sort of piece of government propaganda game with obviously a very sort of, at times, ridiculously strong environmental message. And I hope that you folks didn't mind that it's obviously in a language which most of you don't speak. I hope that my translations were mostly tolerable, even though sometimes I didn't quite understand what the game was saying. So yeah, that was Das Erbe from the Umweltbundesamt. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for coming along with me on this wonderful little adventure. Thank you for sharing this surprising happy ending with me. I really wasn't expecting this, but I'm very glad that I got to show this on video. Now my life is complete. Okay, folks, take care of yourselves and each other. I will talk to you all later in a future video, hopefully. Bye-bye for now.